What are we waiting on? Should I do
You.
an intro?
I'm waiting on you.
We're both literally open mouth. Right?
We both were like about to do it. We were like, he's going to do it. What? Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Common Ground Podcast. Your favorite talk about your favorite Pauper. This is episode 90. I am your co-host, Cameron Schindler, joined as always by Thomas. Likes to listen to Fergalicious on repeat gun. What's happening?
Wait, that's me. That's definitely my artist and track of choice.
That's a good song.
Yeah, it's a fun song.
I don't know if I've heard it more than once in my life.
I've definitely heard it more than once.
Maybe twice.
It's a good song.
You're
You're gonna get some. Okay, y'all are gonna get some. You're gonna get flamed for that one. It's okay. How are you doing?
I have a feeling I won't. I'm doing okay. Just a little burnt out with my eye holes, looking at computer screen all day, which I get is, that's just work for a lot of people, but my work is generally more active. Yes, James is very much pointing at himself. But I like to be a little bit more active with my work, but it's just catching up with some training while the week is slow. But all told, I'm doing very well. My girlfriend and I had a really nice weekend where we planned a whole bunch of life stuff coming up, and because I'm about to go into busy season. About the busy season in work, so want to hunker down and make some plans, and we're going to start playing some music again on the other side. I'm excited. It's going to be good.
Sick. We love that.
Yeah.
Also joined by James Squinkles Hippo Hieronymus. What's happening?
What?
Returning. Long time. Squinkles.
Did you call me Squeebles?
Squinkles.
What the hell is that?
I have, Lord only knows. I'm here. I'm present and accounted for. I am doing all right. I have officially moved in.
Returned. Oh, returned to the podcast. I was going to say, it's been a minute. We had that episode, I recorded without y'all with Zach. And so we were able to take a week off. And then you couldn't make it last week, so it's like, geez, the listeners missed your sultry tones.
It's more my schedule has been not great the last couple of weeks than anything else.
So your bed and everything's in there now, Hippo, yeah? Into our apartment?
It is.
Yeah, we're in the office. We're in the studio right now. It's happening.
All three of us have yet to record in there still, which is pretty funny.
Next week, baby.
Next week. Let's make it happen. That's funny because I'm in Alabama again for work. So I was back home. I haven't been in Alabama this whole time, but I was back home for a little bit. Got back last Tuesday and then went back Sunday the 24th for work until Thursday when this comes out. I will hopefully be in Tennessee again or that afternoon. So that'll be nice. Little backstory for Squinkles. Austin and I were at a gas station and he just pointed at the candy and he's like, that's a weird name for a candy. It was like Squinkles or something. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I want to introduce Hippo as Squinkles Hieronymus on the podcast.
Alrighty then.
So that's where that came from, just so you know. All right, my work's here done. It was nice seeing y'all. If you made it this far.
Wonderful. Yeah, cool. Great episode, everyone.
Yeah, just the origin story, a little check-in. Today we're going to do a little... I think we've touched on this a little bit in the Chicago prep episode forever ago, but we've gotten a few different emails just about new player experience at LGS. We're talking about brand new players, haven't even gone to their local game store at all. It might be a little intimidating. It is a really intimidating thing. So we're going to really hone in on those players and maybe put a little Pauper twist on it too. Thomas, this is something you really wanted to focus in through the specific email. If you wanted to, I don't know if you have that email pulled up.
I do. So this kind of spurred off of an email question. We've been getting a number of mailbag questions. Again, I mentioned at the end of last week's episode, but we'd love to do another mailbag episode, maybe either next week or the week after. And so if y'all want to keep sending in your mailbag questions, we're slowly gathering up enough. I want to give a special shout out to a listener of the show, Desert. They sent in a really, really good question about how to make brews viable and what that looks like in Pauper. And I think we're going to take that and run with it for an entire episode at some point soon. So shout out to Desert for that great question. Y'all have been, some of y'all have been very patient in waiting for some of these to be answered as well. So really, really appreciate that. So this is one of those. And this is something that's kind of been on my mind since we got this, and we just haven't really got around to it for various reasons. So this came in from listener Matthew back in June. Matthew had some comments and questions about a blue-red deck that they were brewing up. So that was kind of an additional part of the question. But the part of the question that we're going to focus on here is, I'll just read off the email here. I wanted to ask if you had any advice for someone going to their very first local Pauper event. It seems like it will be a very small one, like less than 10 people. Is there anything I should know about etiquette or unspoken rules when you are playing cards at an LGS?
So I actually remember pretty vividly my very first time I ever went to an FNM.
Yes.
This is little high school Hippo. This is my very first time walking into the local game store. I had my mom's boyfriend hand me a deck to play because I was a poor high school kid and couldn't afford cards, so he handed me some cards. I will never forget round one. This is the game store was very tiny at this point. We were itty bitty. Round one, I played against this very, very nice lady. Her name was Jolene. She was actually a local that played for several years while I was coming up and started playing Magic. I could not have asked for a nicer person to sit across from. I'll be real honest. Like as a round one person to sit across from my first game ever in a game store. So that really set the tone for me. So when you're considering like other people in the space, and who knows, it may be somebody's first tournament. Like in general, like it may not be just your first tournament. It could be somebody else's. Just approach it with a level of care between two players. Just be decent people. I mean, that's really not hard. Like, don't make people feel unwelcome. That's a huge that's an unspoken rule. Make people feel welcome.
Right. You want to walk into that space as a newer player. It's been so long. I don't even actually. I think I can remember my first event, and maybe we'll get to it at some point. But I think it's important to keep in mind that it is a social game. Like the interactions you make, like we joke about it. It's about the gathering. We come for the magic, you stay for the gathering, and that's really emblematic of when you walk into a room. You don't know anyone else in the room potentially, but you all have this common interest in Magic, in this game that brings us together. And focusing on that, I think, is a great place to start. And I think that's where like. If you luck into, and I think a lot of LGSs have really good communities like this. I would like to think most of them, honestly, because it's such a community-based game. You walk in and you will find people. Just be open to finding people who want to be welcoming. Maybe gravitate towards the groups that are maybe laughing a little bit more, or you can kind of, everyone has a different gauge of how they interact with people and how they check the vibes of other people. So trust your gut, trust your vibe checks. I think that's really, really important. As much as like we might give some pointers about actual Magic cards, I think starting from a place of like making sure that you think about it from a social standpoint first, I think is important.
I guess if you want to look at, as far as like the cards are concerned, make sure your deck is legal. That's I mean, I don't mean to throw out very obvious answers, but that does matter. I remember again, another FNM story. This kid had his dad lend him a legacy deck for a standard FNM. Ooh. So he just went turn one, like Entomb Gristlebrand, reanimate Gristlebrand, and his opponent was a local, like a higher level local, and he was just like, whoa, hold on a minute now, this is not what's supposed to be happening. So,
but like take those moments and laugh with it too, like and enjoy it. Like that's a funny story now. It's
no real harm, no foul. Like
no,
this kid didn't know, so no biggie.
Yeah, and I think just know if you're new going to your LGS for the first time, you're nervous to like you're just like scared you're gonna look dumb or something. Just remember it's a card game, and especially at any level, but especially like the local game store Pauper locals or your F&M, the stakes couldn't be lower. Like a pre-release, it's a lot of people's first events. The stakes could absolutely not be lower.
That's a good point.
And most genuine human beings will be willing to laugh off a mistake or be willing to help you. I've seen all three of us like playing at a pre-release, and we'll get paired into a newer player, and we're not trying to get them out of the game. Oh, I know they're going to make a bad block. If they make like a really questionable attack, just, hey, I have like this 3/3 first strike. Were you sure you meant to do that? And be like, oh no, I didn't realize I had first strike. Thank you. And I guess that's advice to, it's almost easier to give the advice to the newer player, or like the more established players than the newer players, which is
Right.
the exact opposite point of this episode. But yeah, just know that most people are pretty chill and will help you through mistakes and want to help you learn. Like most Magic players want more Magic players and want like good Magic opponents playing, and it's fun playing against good Magic opponents. So they want you to get your teeth hooked into it real bad. That saying on that too, you will just come across a grown man acting like a child at some point in a Magic tournament.
It's unfortunately
It's just
likely.
bound to happen.
And it is something you do have to
Yeah.
prepare for. I mean,
Especially at the local level sometimes. Like you'll just get like a bad apple that occasionally shows up. And it's usually the bigger the crowd, the more likely like there'll be one bad apple. So if it's a small local, and especially if it's a small locals that people built from the ground up, it's probably going to be a bunch of cool people. But just if you come across someone pretty brash, just know it's your time and you don't have to choose to hang out with that person. You might have
Correct.
to play a match against Magic against them every once in a while. And though it's really, really annoying, once you get established and you become like a full-fledged Magic player and going to your locals every week, maybe multiple times a week, like we've all been there before, where once you get to a level of you're confident in your skills, you beat the person that just drives you nuts, and it couldn't feel better. So it's almost kind of fun when there is a villain. It's not fun when you're new and someone's acting like that, but when someone's acting like a brat and you get to beat them, it's pretty what's satisfying, honestly.
so yeah, I mean, a lot of just check your behavior kind of thing. Like, be a decent human being. It's really not hard, I assure you.
Yeah, and that's one of the things where that's giving the advice to the established players, and it's harder to give the advice to like the newer player.
I think that goes both ways.
Yeah, I think like just like setting the expectation that newer players
true.
should also kind of behave in an adult like way is
I
kind of
guess-
just should go across the
yeah.
board, not necessarily for one person or another.
That's true. I haven't seen like a brand new player be like extremely mean. It's normally
No.
No, most of
pretty
them are
shy
very
or something.
inquisitive and want to learn and are excited about being there. Almost every experience I've ever had is that
Yeah.
way with new players.
Especially because a new player experiencing all these little niche things about the game that we've just had ingrained in us for so long, watching those moments of them like figuring those things out, or the puzzle pieces coming together in their brain, like that's so satisfying, not just for them, but also for the established crew at an LGS to like see that happen in real time. I love those moments. Like one of my sales managers at work, her husband has just very recently gotten into the game through Final Fantasies. Huge Final Fantasy fan. They're also a fan of Fallout. She has the dog meat deck, loves the deck. And he got all the Final Fantasy commander decks, and I don't play really any commander at all, but he really wanted to play with me because his wife told him that I played, and like a little bit more seriously. So I invited our buddy Carson. I thought he would be a really good energy with new players, and we just threw together some commander decks, and we just had a great time. There's the four of us, and getting to see, answer questions on the fly, like play to a somewhat like realistic competitive level, but like. Or like I chose to not take out Carson so that Carson could then wrath the board and reset and we could play a longer game. Like I made some choices to have a more of a fun experience, but that's more of a commander thing than any, like if you're going to a standard, a draft, or a Pauper local. But that sort of vibe of keeping it light and keeping the energy fun, I think that's really, really important for someone's first experience on both sides of that coin.
So as far as things to be prepared for, make sure that you've got the things that you need.
Yes.
As far as like tokens for your deck if you happen to have them. You should probably use them. They do make the game a lot easier to read a board state. Like pen and paper or a boogie board or some way to keep life totals. Heck, it could be even 2 d20s. It doesn't terribly matter if it's just like a Pauper local. Probably doesn't really matter all that much. I think some of us are just much more ingrained to writing everything down at this point, and that's definitely me. I write down everything.
Yes.
So making sure that you just some very small essential like things that we would consider essential. Dice in general, dice are good to have. They're just obviously you can figure out who's going first. They help keep counters on the board. So all sorts of stuff.
One of the nice things is that most LGSs should have dice available if you don't have any dice already. A lot of LGSs will have their own branded little pads of paper for life pads. I know several of the stores in our area have those, and that's really helpful, and also a nice way to support the store when you're at other events in other areas too, to like show off your local store.
Yeah.
So the store itself and the employees and the community at the store, I'm sure will be willing to help guide you if you're really coming from just like absolute zero of not having anything. A playmat, if you have a playmat, if you want to play on a playmat, it helps keep your cards in good condition. Sleeves for your deck.
Also helps moving cards around on the board. That helps with that a little bit more.
Yeah.
I would like to think if someone found this podcast, they're aware of playmats and sleeves at this point. But no, I get that. Who knows?
Some people have never played in paper. I mean, some people have only ever played
I agree.
online.
I agree. I'm just guessing though for the most part. No, I didn't mean that in a mean way, but I was gonna add on to that.
No, I definitely thought you meant it in a mean
thing.
way. I 100% thought you did. How could you?
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Belittling the intelligence of our audience. just left and every week, just over and over again.
Yeah, deck box, sleeve your deck.
I like the paper thing because I think that's a good way, like a nice little level up too, where maybe this isn't like etiquette, but it's nice to see your opponent's life total too. And then if there's ever like discrepancies, you can like look back and be like, okay, I took 2 here, you took 3 from this. But being able to look at both players' life totals in front of you, I think is really important. I've played without, like I've forgotten it before and played with a D20 and just like, I didn't swing for lethal last turn because I didn't realize my opponent was that low, So I do like pen and paper if you're newer and haven't done that. The other thing I was going to build off of, Hippo, when you said earlier, like make sure your deck is legal. That sounds like pretty silly, but Pauper's a little weird where if it was printed at a common ever, it's legal, besides like the ban list and stuff. So that's kind of awkward for older sets because there used to not be an expansion symbol. And then after that, the expansion symbol, they were all black. So nowadays, the expansion symbol, if it's a common, it's black, uncommon, silver, rare, it's gold, yada. But back then, it was just the expansion symbol was black. So you could look at that and be like, oh, this is a common, but that's not true. You had to like know the set to know the rarity of the cards, which is pretty funny. But just because you find like an old car, I've done this before. I have. It was... I don't know if it was like Gloom or something or it was like something where it's something about like gardens and it was all your black spells cost like 4 more to play some enchantment. I'm like, oh my God, why aren't people playing this against gardens? I'm like, oh, it's an uncommon. That's why, so.
Let's get into the etiquette, any unspoken rules. There's like a lot of kind of back and forth in a paper match that happens in terms of there's a lot of like the rules of Magic and how the turns and phases are structured are pretty advanced, but in paper we kind of shortcut through a lot of that by just saying like okay or your go or that resolves. There's a lot of kind of shorthand that we use to kind of signal to each other in a game that like yes, like say I'm playing against James. Say I cast a lightning bolt targeting your Arbor Elf or something. Like say I burn Vipanza, perhaps. And does that resolve?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't even say it resolves. I would just pick my Arbor Elf up and put it in the graveyard. That's just a sign that we both know what's going on the board state.
Yes.
Cool. So
I was wondering if you were thinking about like a Tamiyo's safety and throwing me off here or something.
No.
Okay.
So a lot of Magic action, and this is actually, Thomas, you can probably attest to a little bit of this. Even at the pro level, at the Pro Tour level, like a lot of things don't even actually have to be said for things to just happen. Like you just like tap mana, you just like put a spell on the table, point it at something, and things just happen. Like some things just don't even have to be said. Like we as just older players know that. But as if you're a newer player and you're unsure about how some of this lingo goes down, it does not hurt to do anything you can to help yourself along by saying, I'm going to cast Lightning Bolt targeting this Arbor Elf. Yeah. Does this resolve? Like, that's very simple.
Fully stating the whole thing.
Yeah, like even
that's totally fine.
It's something that, and also another thing that like I still hear it to this day. A ton of experienced Magic players, they call out the phases of the turn, which is it's just a very helpful thing because that allows both players to have an opportunity if somebody wants to stop. Because the one you'll hear most often is untap, upkeep, draw. Mm-hmm. And if you want to stop somebody in one of those phases, you can be like, before you draw your card, blah. So I have something, or in that
something. I have effects in your upkeep.
Yeah, but
as
just,
they're untapping.
Yes, but you can just call out the turn as it progresses. It's like then you start getting into like the combat weeds, but that's the whole different thing. Yes. But just calling out the phases of the turn. Yeah, so calling out the phases of the turn is generally helpful. Again, if somebody is brand new, I wouldn't expect somebody to, or another like an LGS regular to quote try and get them with like combat nonsense because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Most people are going to be kind of lenient on this, especially if it's just like a local thing, like if it's like an F&M or a whatever. People are going to be more lenient on that kind of thing. So
I don't personally, I don't ever call out untap, upkeep, draw, but the combat's probably the most important thing if you're newer and like worried about etiquette. It's very important to do move to the beginning of combat, and once that happens, move to attackers is because there's a weird little in between spot. There's a difference between move to the beginning of combat and move to declare attackers. So
correct.
Like
good thing that shortcut has now been established.
Yeah, and if you're newer, you're not aware.
I know.
You might not even be aware that's two different parts of the combat phase. So that's important. You move to combat first. Any triggers that say at the beginning of combat go on the stack. Your opponent has a round of priority is passed around. So at the beginning of combat, before attackers are declared.
So you said a word there that I did not know when I walked into a game store. I had to learn this word. Was priority.
Yeah, that's true.
Priority was a word I did not know because I just played like cafeteria table Magic like at school.
Yeah,
like I didn't know what priority was. So when I started going and going to the game store, and these are terms you pick up. It's like priority is a big one. That's a big one, and it does matter a lot.
Yeah.
Being able to dictate what phase you're in by passing priority is huge. I mean, if you've played on Magic Online, you understand how that works. It's just clicking the one key or the OK button. That's your passing of priority.
And one thing I didn't know for a while is if I said move to combat, and before I went to combat, somebody like killed a creature because it had a combat at the beginning of combat trigger. They didn't want them to stack. I didn't know I could then stay in my first main phase. So that might be something like a newer player wouldn't know. Just different stuff like that. I feel like the move to combat, the priority thing, those are definitely some things. I think someone who a newer player who has found the podcast somehow but still hasn't gotten the LGS might not know about. Like I feel like those are like those weird little level ups like right before you go to your first LGS, because I was like at a weird spot where I like watched a lot of Magic content before I even like went to my first LGS. I was obsessed with the game before I even got to play the game with people.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's like kind of a lot of people.
Well, you got to think a lot. Well, we can look at COVID, for example. Like COVID, a lot of people learned how to play on Arena, and then they went to the like whatever set the first set was post like Strixhaven. Was it Strixhaven?
So it was like Kaldheim right as things were just starting to come out, and into Strixhaven.
I think the first one we had here at the Game Cave, I think, was Strixhaven.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like coming back to Strixhaven, we've got like brand new people that I've never seen, and they literally learned how to play the game on Arena. They've never touched a piece of cardboard prior to this. And so that has literally happened in our local friend group. Like I think Everett learned how to play on Arena and learned how to then came to a draft. I think Dan did the same thing.
Yeah.
So these are, so even some
these
of our,
these are limited
these are very,
crushers.
very, very good people that play Magic around us, and they are cracked. So again, you can learning online completely and then coming to paper. It's not like a huge change. Like in all reality, it's really not that big of a difference, but it's just the slow stepping stone of having to translate everything that you've been doing in online. It's being done for you. All the triggers are put on the stack for you. Some of all these things. It's like you have to do these things now. It's like you are responsible for these.
Yes.
It's basically just a high level of you are responsible for a whole lot more than you were playing online.
And kind of piggybacking off of that, I think if you are someone who's going to play your very first paper event, don't feel like you need to keep up with the pace of the more established players, because like we said earlier, ideally in a solid, good, kind-hearted community, which I would like to think that most LGSs have, especially like Pauper locals, especially. It's been good vibes from everyone I've met so far around the country with the events we've been able to go to. I think that there is a temptation to try and match the pace. You want to fit in. It's a natural human thing to want to show up and be like, oh yeah, I show people I know what I'm doing. Show people that like I at least have a basic understanding of this. I can fit in here. That's like a very common, natural human type of experience and human experience. I don't know. My brain kind of shut off for a second there, but I would encourage you to just take things slow. You don't want to go glacially slow that you run out of time on the clock. That's another thing we can get to. But you can take your time and be deliberate and thoughtful, think through your turns. And especially this comes up with what James was saying, is that the Arena and Magic Online are going to put all of your triggers from triggered abilities and things like that on the stack automatically. So you are going to need to remember, say you have a Kessig Flame Breather in play. You're playing Mono Red Madness, like we talked about last week. You're playing Mono Red Madness, you have a Kessig Flame Breather in play, or a Gutter Snipe in play. Anytime you cast a spell that triggers one of their abilities, you have to announce that trigger before your spell resolves. You cast your spell and then announce your triggers. And then the stack happens. The triggers would resolve first, and then the spell would resolve. But that's something that you have to announce. So I think it's important to make sure you take your time, think through your turn, and remember to announce anything that is going to come up based on the sequence of events that you choose to take.
And speaking of triggers, in case there's something that is missed, you should learn a word.
Oh, yes.
There's an important word here. It's called raising your hand and calling for a judge.
Yes.
Whether that be the game store owner, the TO,
an actual judge at a larger event.
Yeah, I was like a random game store employee that probably has a good idea how Magic works. There's a lot of different people that you're probably going to experience as being a judge, or as you can say, actual factual judges that we have great ones in our area.
At an event like this, like something like a 10-person local, it's likely to either be the store owner or a store employee, or just one of the most established players who is playing the event.
I was like, we are pretty I know our group of people are pretty self-policing. We can usually resolve things that are going on without.
But you've been called as
I would
a judge
say most
many
groups
times at like the Game Cave, for instance. You've been called as a judge many times, James.
I certainly have. I would imagine that I've. Yeah, I mean,
probably more so than anyone else I've seen at the cave who is not an owner or an employee.
Yes. I also like to help. That's kind of my thing. Yeah, keeping things clear by calling a judge if you don't understand how something's going on, like if there's an interaction that's going on the stack that you're like, this doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Can someone please explain why this is the way it is? And then that's what a judge is going to help you.
I would say at this level too, like more like at an RCQ level, like your opponent's your opponent. They don't have your best interest in mind. But at this level where it's like your F&M or local Pauper legally, like if you have a Kessig Flame Breather and you're like, bolt your dude, and you put your card in the graveyard, they put their card in the graveyard, and you're like, oh, I forgot my Kessig Flame Breather trigger, and you call a judge. I would just ask, like, if it's like pretty reasonable, just be like, oh yeah, Kessig Flame Brave trigger shit, is that cool? I don't think a judge needs to get involved for like every super small thing.
No,
especially at like a super low level.
I can say a lot of us can say I know in our group we're all pretty sick of self-policing, so we can it's something reasonable, we'll just go through and make the trigger happen, or
just ask your opponent.
Yeah,
like in a casual setting, we do that when we play Cube, when we're just hanging out at each other's houses. We're like, oh, can I get this? We're like, yeah, sure, that's fine.
It's like I'll take the Reed Duke approach on this one, and it's like I want you to just play good Magic. Like I don't want like some really complicated rules thing to be why you lose a game. Like I just want you to play good Magic. So I'll take the Reed Duke approach.
If you ask your opponent a question like, "Oh, how does like this work?" You'll be met with the really fun Magic community thing. You'll ask your opponent, and then 6 people will turn around and answer the question all at the same time for you.
Yeah,
that does happen. Everybody.
Yeah, Magic players love showing how smart they are. And they'll share it with you. They'll show you how smart they are. Don't worry.
Yup.
That is very true.
Which I think is I'd rather that than everybody just look at you and just like not be willing to help you. So
Right.
I guess if you got to take one extreme,
I guess my closing thought on this really is go enjoy yourself.
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah, have fun. That's part of the best. That's the best
later.
thing.
That's when you go to conventions, Cameron.
No, just have fun.
Yeah, you don't have to shower.
Enjoy your time playing actual pieces of cardboard in front of another human being. It feels really good.
Yeah. Oh, I want to play local.
Yeah, again, biggest thing. Most people are happy to have new players. It might look intimidating, but everybody's just sitting down with pieces of cardboard,
Yeah.
I'm looking at so many pieces of cardboard right now.
Exactly. Beautiful.
I'm so excited to go through all
beautiful,
this cardboard.
Beautiful. Yeah, don't be afraid to ask your opponent. Like, don't be afraid to read a card. I don't know if can I read it?
Read
that's
the
weird.
cards.
Wait, can you read? Hey, you did that a little fast. What exactly happened?
I can say all 3 of us have been playing for close to
over a decade,
if not more.
Close
to a decade, if not more. And we still pick up cards and read them.
Yeah,
it's like, how is this card worded? Like, I need to know how. Sometimes it matters. Like, how is this card worded? Actually, if you watch the Common Ground Cup, I don't know how a card works in the finals. I needed to read the card.
I was thinking that. That's funny.
I wonder if. Fun news! The Common Ground Cup 3 is confirmed. We're just locking in a date.
Beautiful.
So I want to chat with you guys after.
Sick.
Speaking of sick, I had a sick time up in Kentucky a couple weeks ago playing some Pauper.
Yeah. Before we get into it, Cameron, do you have any other closing thoughts on this? I think I said everything that came up for me. Just have fun, have a good time.
I just had one quick story. Last Monday when I was in Alabama, I played the Pauper Weekly locals at JC's House of Cards. I think they had like 9 people at the weekly locals. It was really fun. I got to hang out with the Bama crew, JC, Will and Jonathan. I got to see them and hang out with them, which is always a blast, and play Austin CDHQ. But I borrowed a deck from Will because I didn't bring any of my Pauper cards with me because I'm an idiot. And I borrowed Walls combo. I'm like, I don't really think too long. That store has awesome bulk that's all sorted.
They do.
And so I was finding all these super sick cards for this cube project I'm working on. Like, and it's only old bordered sets, so Scourge blocking back or Onslaught blocking back. And so I just found so many cheap cards that instead of just having to probably result from TCG player, which is yucky, but I was able to find a ton of them locally, which is awesome. Anyway, so I wanted to play Wallace so I could have time to search through all these boxes. My round 1 opponent was super sick. Their name was Lee, and they've been playing Magic for maybe a month or 2, and their Pauper deck just consisted of commons from EOE. I think this was their first or second time even playing Pauper at all. I was talking to them. They really enjoy draft. I'm like, yeah, draft's really sick because you don't need a ton of format knowledge. Yeah, that helps if you really want to win.
And you don't need a collection either.
For the most part, you can show up. Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing. You can show up and feel like you're more on an even playing field. Yes, somebody like Everett is probably going to beat you, but there's more of an even playing field there. they talked about Commander. I'm like, yeah, Commander's really cool because they make these precons and how it's so easy to get into Commander because they make these precons and they're built awesome. You just pick one up and you can play with your friends and they're good, and that doesn't exist in any other format. So, and I just kind of pointed them in the direction of, yeah, like Jonathan and Will are super, super nice. Jonathan works at the LGS here. I'm borrowing this deck from Will. My friends borrowing a deck from Jonathan. They'd be more than happy to lend you out a deck if you're curious on any of the decks they have. They'll gladly tell you how it works. So it just kind of reminded me, like, most Magic players are like pretty generous and more than happy to, oh, this is how this works. Here's a quick little rundown of this deck. So if you're an established Magic player already, just keep a warm, open heart to people.
Yeah.
And I don't know, shout out to Jonathan Will, because I'm sure they will be willing to let that person borrow a deck. Because they were talking about, like, oh, I've never like played a combo deck before, and that deck looked pretty cool. And so they asked like how the combo worked and stuff and all that. And I at one point, the first game, I make infinite mana, put the Freed from Rule on the Axebane Guardian. I just look at the secret door and I play it, and
Oh God.
Explaining how a dungeon works.
Oh no.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm going to activate this 6 times. There's these things called rooms. I'm going to choose this room. And it's just
No, it's not a
nightmare.
room. It's a dungeon.
Explain.
It's a dungeon. Rooms are a
Oh,
different
yes,
thing
there are
now.
3 dungeons with rooms. Yeah, exactly. See,
more confusing.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's rooms in a dungeon.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, that was awful to explain.
Venture into the dungeon.
I hated that part. Like, if you're newer, look for... I feel like every community kind of has... Especially in Pauper,
yeah.
Especially in Pauper, especially. Beautiful word choicing. Especially in Pauper, especially. There's someone trying... Like, there's your Derek Smiths, your Wills, your Jonathans. They're trying to build it up from nothing. And they're bringing these extra decks. And they really, 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 really want people to show up to their Pauper weeklies. And they're more than happy to help you, play games with you. Like, I just think about Derek. I couldn't think of a better person to just... If I'm new, who I want to run into.
Alum of the pod.
Alum of the pod.
Unofficial
Friend of the
fifth
pod.
co-host.
Alum of the pod. That's funny. Yeah, I just thought that kind of branched into that
Yeah.
story.
I mean, that goes all the way to well-established players. Like, when I played the PT in Chicago, I had a spreadsheet full of cards with who I had borrowed all of these cards from. Like, it goes all the way from when you first start to if you make it to the top. Like, Magic players are they just want to see people play good Magic and have a good time. And if you surround yourself with good people, then you'll be able to do that. So, yeah.
The amount of dual lands that get passed around when we do a team trios event
It is crazy. It's another person, and I've called him out once. I'll call him out again. Another person that's great for this kind of thing is Justin Mullins.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
For the
Legacy
Legacy
For the
is
legacy
one of
scene,
those
which is
things.
even harder to do.
Yeah.
He talk about somebody who put in some work.
Yeah.
He put in some work.
Yeah.
Put some dollar signs.
He put in a lot of dollar signs. You want somebody who grinds value? That guy grinded value incredibly well.
Yeah.
He let me hold. I think it was a Mox Jet.
Yep,
just
he's got a Mox
unsleeved.
Jet.
And I'm just like,
unsleeved,
this
just
is
raw.
insane. Yeah, and I'm like, this is really cool. That was the first time I've like held power, and then he just it was unsleeved too. And I'm just like, oh my god.
I think the first time I held
is
power
dirty.
was when Silly Santilli got his Mox
Oh, his
Pearl.
Mox Pearl. Awesome.
In
I think
Atlanta
that was
at the
the-
beginning of the year. That was sick.
No,
That
I
was
think
funny.
I'd held a. I think I'd had a Twister before.
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh, shout out to Austin. Austin left the hotel because he's picking up a Time Twister.
Oh, sick.
Sick. Good for him.
Yeah, he drove to Columbia to pick that up from Steven, so that's really, really cool. So shout out to Austin,
Jeez.
alum of the pod.
Also along with the pod.
All right, tell us about your day playing Gardens. The last weekend at this point. Saturday,
It'll be
Saturday
it'll
the
be
16th.
it'll be 2 weeks
It'll
ago.
be 2 weeks when they
2
hear
weeks
this.
ago.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, I knew I was going to go play this event. I was like, I don't know what to play. I was sitting there literally the night before, and I'm like, I was texting with like Andy and Spencer, and I was like, I don't know. Like, I was like, look at these terrible blue decks. I'm like, man, this. Like I said on both this like blue black deck that I was like, this looks really cool. This looks really bad, but it looks really cool and fun to play. Like I would probably enjoy playing this deck because it's basically the deck I played, the blue-black deck I played in trios. And then I found this the Gardens list that I can't remember, a few different people have been playing. Like Noob is one of them that I think that's the list that I particularly found. I was like, this just looks sick. This looks like I haven't gardened in a long time, and I could sure use a good shovel to unearth these cards. So went into the Pauper box, built it, and I am very glad that I picked that deck for the room that I played in, because oh boy, was there some spy in the room.
Yeah, it sounded like there was a lot of
for me to
spy.
feast upon. So I'll just go over my matchups. So round one, I sat across from Frank. Frank was really cool. We actually talked about music a lot. It was really fun.
Nice.
I was playing Wall Spy. Game one, he played 2 spies in a row and targeted me with them. I was like, all right, this is the game we're playing. And then I just got beat down because I was looking at snuff outs in my hand that didn't do anything. And I'm like, all right, cool. Can't kill him. Sick. Then the third spy targeted him and he won the game. Stuff happens. Post-board games, I think this came down to he just couldn't find enough mana sources to do very much. So it was, I killed every mana producing thing on site. And my particular build of the deck, well, not my particular build, but the build that I chose to play had a ton of ways to stop the spy combo. It's kind of silly.
Yeah, you've told me
you
about
just
this.
have like infinity removal spells for all their mana producing idiots. You have 2 copies of Bajuka Bog to nuke the graveyard, like just even as value, because it's
spell bombs.
you have 2 spell bombs. Yeah. And my favorite card that came up, and it was so funny every single time it happened.
This was news to me, which is wild.
So Pulse of Marasa is an insane card in this matchup because they like don't see it coming. They don't think about it, because if they just see the bomb, like there's no bomb in play or whatever, there's no bog, you can't instance be bog, then you have a really hard time stopping this combo. They just use they go to do the thing, and you're like, when they target with Dread Return to get the Lotless Giant back, you just Pulse of Marasa the giant back to their hand, and they can't cast it, and then they draw from an empty library and they die. It's very funny. Also, you gain 6 life.
And you gain 6 life. It took me to literally, you told me about this the other day, that I did not know or did not think to. I was like, oh my god, of course, Pulse of Marasa doesn't say target creature in your graveyard, or it's just any creature in
that
any
matters.
graveyard.
I've had that matter before this, like even in not Pauper, I've had that matter.
Yeah.
That line come up.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I should read my cards.
Reading cards is cool. And also in the board, I had like a copy of Last Rites, a couple copies of Fairy Macabre, and like I brought in a single copy of Weather the Storm just to pad the life total a bit. I was playing Double Campfire. That was pretty huge, by the way.
It's funny because you always think of Gardens just being a dog to like the really, really linear combo decks.
It beats the pants off this one.
Were you gonna say beats the dick off it?
No. No, it just beats the pants off this particular combo deck. So round 2, I played against Sunny. I think you played against Sunny at the Louisville events. Like last September.
I played against Sunny in Indy. This most recent time.
Perfect.
Neither of us were live for top 8, but we were still playing, having a good time. One of the
Kentucky folk.
Yeah, one of the kind of linchpins of that scene up north of us.
Yep. I was playing Blue Red Terror. He knew exactly how this matchup needed to play out, and he gave me the business. I will tell you that. Basically, he doesn't need to do anything until he can basically just put like 3 terror and play on 1 turn and like triple counter spell for anything you try to do that's relevant at all. It was really bad for me. It went really poorly.
You were telling me that y'all were talking about it, and that he had reached out to Spock Vita, who is a Blue Red Terror aficionado on Magic Online, and kind of gave that advice of just don't do anything, counter the campfires for sure, and then just eventually, the Gardens will have to start doing something to try and like progress any sort of game plan, and then
but you have so few threats is the issue. It's really hard. This matchup horrid if they know what's going on. If they just want to spew cards, then that's probably a different story, but this is a really hard matchup. So he beat me 2-0 very easily.
Nice.
Round 3, I played against one of our locals as well, Derek. he was playing Wall Spy as well. So I will say across the 7 total games against Wall Spy that I played, 4 of them were won with Pulsar Marasa. This card just won at least one game in every matchup. That is insane. So this is one of those games where I kind of had it all. I'm pretty sure this is the matchup where I had like a double bomb on board, a Fairy Macabre in hand, a Pulse in hand, and I'm just like, there's no way. There's like no way. So I got this one 2-0. Then I played against Trenton, who I met when we went to Frontline a couple months ago. Also playing Wall Spy.
Oh my goodness.
So I played against it 3 times in 4 rounds.
That's insane.
I have become an expert on this matchup.
Yeah, I guess. Jeez.
If you really want to be, that is my advice, and I gave this to Spencer for the Lansing event up in the Energy.
That just happened this past weekend. Congrats to everyone. Congrats to Nick Norman for taking it down
with this deck.
With Guardians.
With this deck, actually.
Yeah.
I think he played 74 of my 75, or the 75 cards I played. So very close. Obviously, no real difference.
Yeah.
But to 2-0 that one as well. So I am 3-1, having all my wins be against Wall Spy. I'm like, any other Wall Spy players will play me in the last round? And I paired into a good friend of mine, Mr. Thomas Bitter, who decided to play Rally Red for
Wall
this
Spy.
event.
Oh.
No. No. If there were red cards being available to cast, he's going to cast them. So, played against him. This matchup was really tough. He got me game 1 because I just don't have enough ways to stay alive. Post board, I have I have 4 copies of Weather the Storm, and I have like a couple Wraths in the form of Drown in Sorrow, along with the Crypt Rats in the main. So I have a fair bit more answers now to what aggression this deck can put on the table. So I think it was this game. I went from 9 to 21 off of Weather the Storm. I then went again from 9 to 21 off Weather the Storm.
Holy crap.
And then went again from 9 to 21 off Weather the Storm.
Holy crap.
In the same game. It was wild.
He was fighting.
Yeah. Is that, the math adds. Okay, it's 9. Yeah, 9 to 21.
Yeah.
So that was fun. That was really hilarious. But that's how much damage that deck can just put out, like, consistently. Like, I had to rip these pretty hard too. Like, I the first one, I was like, okay, this is good, gonna be very good. When I resolved the first one, then I just kept drawing them. Like, all right, these are very sick. A sick 3-mana gain 12 is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then the campfires were huge too here. This is a great matchup for the double campfire in the main. That card is so fire. I don't think
it's campfire.
Yeah, that card is so fire.
It's so campfire.
It is so campfire. So I won game 2, and then game 3. This was a cheek clincher. I'll tell you that.
Ooh.
This was a put on the early aggression. I only have like some like 1-for-1 removal, which is not the best against them. It's better if I have like a Crypt Rats or something. And then we got to this little dance where I needed him to brick like for a turn, and he did. And I was like, all right, then I can just like I can get out of range with the campfire again, like out of just like burn range, and then kind of just ever so slowly claw my way back in, because there's only so many cards that matter at that point for me. Because if I just have enough removal spells at some point, I'll be able to just deal with all the creatures on the board.
Yeah,
I found like double Drown in Sorrow, so I'm just like, all right, I think we're good here. You can just kill everything. And then. Yeah, I probably gained, I don't know, almost 40 life that game. I was probably still no more above 10 at the end of the game regardless. Yep. That deck puts on a ton of damage. So end up in third because this was kind of a proof of concept tournament. Store wanted to kind of see if this was enough to want to make them do it again, and they immediately, as soon as all the people signed up, they're like, well, absolutely, we're doing it again.
Great.
So cool on them. I am so sorry I cannot remember the store right off the top of my head.
Enchanted Gaming Emporium in Murray, Kentucky.
Beautiful. They were fantastic people.
Mm-hmm. The winner who went 5-0 is Eric, the Grixis Affinity player who top-aided the Common Ground Cup just a few weeks ago.
That's cool. Did not know that. Dope.
Yep. And then
A tear.
Yep. So we had some cool decks in the top 8 on top 8 of this tournament. Dustin Sendejas was playing.
Yes, also finished 4-1.
Mono Black Devotion.
Or 3-1. No, yeah, well, he was one of the 4-1s. Yeah,
He and I were. He was second. I was third.
Yep.
He played Mono Black Devotion with the Great Merchant of Asphodel.
Right after I dunked on Gary in the Discord.
That was one of the first things that he's like. Yeah, after he's like, Thomas said this card was bad. I was like, yeah. He's like, it's pretty good. So that was.
Wait, Gary?
Yeah, Great Merchant of
Asphodel.
You think that card's bad?
I think generally speaking it does not hold up, but it in the right circumstance you can certainly make it good if you want to.
In the right hands, in the right skilled magician's hands. And Sendejas
it's bad against counterspell, but
right. Yeah. So of course I think it's bad.
And I think Sendejas is quite a skilled magician. So
yes, no, Dustin is correct.
He's very good at Magic. I think my record against him is just terrible.
We're pretty even at this point.
I've only played him in either cube or limited formats, and he is a killer in that environment, and I am not nearly as skilled as he is.
I think he's up on me in cube. I think we're even in Pauper.
Yeah, I think he's got me both. Anyways, very good.
Shout out to Dustin.
Shout out to Dustin. Playing
when
some
did you guys get a cube
Mono
with
Black
him?
Devotion.
When back in the Vintage Cube days at the Game Cave.
Oh, I wasn't.
I also played there was a little birthday get together and I was there and Dustin was there and I think you were there. Were you there too? Yeah, a little Vintage Cube for I think it was Dustin and I in the finals and I think he beat me, something like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's very good.
Yeah, that's right. He's consistently beaten me in the finals of Cube Drafts.
So yeah, good people. Fun store. I actually like the store. The vibes were good.
Yeah,
the vibes were fun.
Of bulk.
Yeah, a ton of bulk. Annika sat there for hours and picked through bulk.
Yeah.
I think Anna got fourth.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Anna. Well, yeah, she was one of the couple of 3-1-1s.
Yes.
And Mr. Bitter was the top
runner-up
of
the Common Ground podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
runner-up of the Common Ground Cup, not the.
No. Sounds like a great time.
Yeah, I had fun. So, my takeaway from the day is that if you really, really want to beat Spy, then play this deck because I don't think you can lose to it.
So I had a question about that matchup. Yeah. How does that deck beat Gardens if it's going for the combo and they have Pulse Maraska? Do they play? Yeah, if the Spy play the Wall Spy combo, do they play 2 Lotlift Giants of the Dread Returns?
So you have to have. You have to have enough creatures in play to do it twice, and yes, most of them do play 2. Also,
unless they were really playing around.
So post board again, up to post board, you have so many ways to just delay them long enough that if your removal spells are enough, and then you just value bog them. They at some point they don't have enough power to put or enough creatures to count for the troll. The giant coming back into play.
Just even do anything.
Yeah, so you can just get your life total high enough and it just doesn't matter.
And the whole idea of your deck is so good against their fair gameplay.
Oh yeah.
Gameplay.
Oh, absolutely.
Gardens eats fair decks for breakfast. That's kind of the one of the selling points of playing the deck, I think.
Most of the time, unless your opponent knows what's up.
Oh, sure.
Unless your opponent knows what's up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So if you just mulligan your combo pieces your anti-combo pieces game 2, you kind of seem like you can naturally just deal with the deck pretty well. Or if you just draw Pulse Maraska game 1, you just do that.
yeah, that was huge. That card was insanely. I don't think I returned a single card from my graveyard with it all day. I think it only targeted Lotlift Giant all day.
So funny.
So if you're playing Spy and you're pretty sure your opponent has a Pulse or a Fairy Macabre, you gotta be really, really patient with when you're comboing. Maybe wait until you have 6 creatures out.
I mean, yeah. Even then, good luck. Again, my deck is just a pile of removal spells, so good luck getting 6 creatures.
That's true because well, even if they have 6 creatures, they flash back the first one. You're like, okay, in response, cast down 1 of your 3 remaining creatures. Now you have 2. Pulse that Lotlift Giant. Okay, now your other Dread Returns dead in the water because it's a sorcery.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I think it's quite a good matchup. I had obviously not played it prior, and I'm just figuring it out on the fly, and I'm like, oh, this is very easy. Okay, I figured it out real fast.
That's pretty funny.
But yeah, you have all these main deck answers because like every black deck in the format is just playing Nile Spellbomb because they just can, because it's very good. And then you're a deck that takes like pretty good advantage at game going long and using good Bajuka Bogs there. And having the pulse is really huge. Also, some versions of this deck play Crypt Incursion as well.
Yep.
But
I got
if you
blown out by that the other day.
yeah, that card's really good too. I'm hoping you'll find me one in this nonsense because I think there's one in there somewhere.
I'm sure there's got to be multiple.
I don't know. It's only been ever printed in one.
Are you going through his
set.
bulk tonight?
Not tonight, but at some point soon.
I was like, I think
Over
there's
the next couple of months.
Yeah, good luck finding a Dragon's Maze
Same.
common. But yeah, the deck was fun. I had a good time playing it. Would play it again,
Wonderful.
considering playing it again, actually.
Okay.
I think that was a good time.
Wonderful. Awesome.
Cool. Love to hear it.
Y'all,
Yeah.
y'all have anything else to share?
Yeah, we have just announced that
No.
the Common Ground Cup 3 is happening.
Is happening. Date to be announced. It will likely be in January. I'm gonna confirm some
6 months,
options.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's all I got.
If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. If you got any questions, comment, concerns, especially questions, we want those questions. We want to do a mailbag dump thing sometime soon. So send those questions into Common Ground MTG Pod
There it
at
is.
gmail.com. That is in the description below, as well as our Discord. Come join our Discord. There's a little mailbag tab in there. You can ask a question straight there. Lots of cool people. You can chats with all sorts of people, like all the people we mentioned in this podcast.
It's true. They're all in there.
5 stars. Put them in there. Wherever you're at, share it to your Pauper community.
Got them 5
Send those
stars,
questions
little
in.
man. Put them stars in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
And keep balling your lightnings.
Call your mother if you have a good relationship with your mother.
Oh.
Do that.
Yeah. I need to do that more. Maybe I'll call my mom on the way home.
Jesus
I talked to my mom
Christ.
yesterday. I think I'm good.
Okay.
Love you,
Talk to
Mom,
my
if you're
mom every
listening.
day.
I don't know if you are or not.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much for listening. We'll be back to y'all next week.
Bye.
I'd like it to be known for the record that I successfully gaslit Cameron earlier in the episode, and I'm so proud of myself. He's just ignoring me. I'm gonna stop recording.